Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me Sumaya Chaudhary and I am a student of Shahjalal University of Science and Technology Sylhet. In this video, I will discuss some important concepts related to research philosophy, including theoretical perspectives and positivist philosophy of science. These ideas helps us understand how scientific knowledge is developed, interpreted and evaluated in research. So, let's begin with the first concept. Let's talk about theoretical perspective. Theoretical perspective refer to how knowledge is understood in research and they form the philosophical foundation of scientific studies. They help researchers choose appropriate research methodologies and establish the basis of their investigation. Over time, these perspectives are not fixed. As new discoveries are made and societies change, paradigms and theoretical perspectives continue to evolve. Now, let's understand what a paradigm is. A paradigm is basically a system of beliefs, frameworks, and tools that guide research. It helps how researchers first perceive reality, second, acquire knowledge, and third, choose appropriate research method. In simple terms, a paradigm acts as a guiding framework for conducting scientific research. Now let's look at component of paradigm. The first important component of paradigm is ontology, which belongs to philosophy of science. Ontology deals with the nature of reality and truth. It helps researchers understand whether reality exists independently or is socially constructed. There are two major views here. The first is realism, which states that reality exists independently of human perception. The second one is relativism, which suggests that reality is socially constructed and may vary depending on different perspectives. The second important component is epistemology, which refers to the theory of knowledge. Epistemology explains how human beings acquire and understand knowledge about the world. There are two main theories within epistemology. The first is rationalism, which argues that reliable knowledge is derived from reason, logic, and intellectual thinking. The second is empiricism, which suggests that knowledge is obtained through direct observation and real world experiment actually. Now, let's understand what is conceptual framework and methodology. Another important component of paradigm is the conceptual and theoretical framework. This framework provides a guiding structure for research practice and methods, ensuring that research follows a systematic and organized approach. Along with this, methodological guidelines help researchers decide how to collect and analyze data. The choice of research method usually depends on the research objectives and the paradigm guiding the study. Main research paradigms. In scientific research, there are four main paradigms. Physical scientists mainly follows the first one, while social scientists may choose different paradigms depending on their research ideas and needs. These are four paradigms are positivism and post-positivism, constructivism and advocacy or participatory paradigm. And the last one is pragmatism, positivism and Post-positivism. The first paradigm is positivism. Positivism argues that knowledge should be based on observable and measurable fact actually. Researchers using this approach rely heavily on scientific observation and empirical evidence. However, post-positivism recognizes that knowledge may not always be completely certain, especially when studying complex human behavior and social realities. Constructivism. The next paradigm is constructivism. Constructivism suggests that people create meaning based on their experience and interaction with the world. Because of this, it focuses on subjective interpretation and is often used in qualitative research. Another paradigm is advocacy or participatory paradigm, which focuses on marginalized group and social justice. This approach uses research as a tool for social change and empowerment. The final paradigm is pragmatism. Pragmatism emphasizes practical problem solving rather than strictly following a single problems or theory. Researchers using this pragmatism select methods that best address the research problem. Because of this flexibility, pragmatism often uses mixed research methods combining both qualitative and quantitative approach. Positivist philosophy of science. Now let's look at the positivist philosophy of science. The philosophy of science explored important questions such as what is the goal of science? What methods should scientists use? And how does science ensure progress and rationality? Historically, philosophy of science also included metaphysical questions. However, logical positivists later argued that only knowledge that can be empirically verified through observation is meaningful. Now, let's look at the core principle of positivism. Positivism is based on several important principles. The first is induction, which means starting from observation and then developing general laws and theory. The second one is deduction, where scientists use existing law to explain and predict phenomena. The third one is progressive knowledge. The third principle is progressive knowledge, meaning that scientific knowledge develops gradually as observation accumulate and theories improve over time. Positivist beliefs. Positivists believe that scientific observation should be objective and unbiased. They also believe that theory should emerge from facts and empirical evidence. Another important idea is that scientific statements should be value neutral, meaning they should not be influenced by personal opinions and biases. Overall, positivist views science as progressive, objective, and rational. Let's look at the critics of positivism. Despite its influence, positivism has also been criticized by many scholars. One criticism is the role of prior problems, which means observation are often guided by existing research questions. Another criticism involves language since observation usually require theoretical interpretation. Researchers also rely on scientific instruments, which are themselves based on prior theories. Therefore, critics argue that theory and observation are closely interconnected rather than completely separated. Thank you everyone for your kind attention.